But first, I would hate to be in Scott Morrison's shoes right now. Last September, if you recall, Newspoll's two-party preferred numbers had him just 6 points behind and gaining. A comeback and maybe even victory at the next election looked achievable. Well, how things can change almost in the blink of an eye. In late December, the coalition slipped further as the headlines revealed Labor would end the year a short-priced favourite, destined to take 12 seats from the coalition. And the challenge, after just 12 days of this year, is close to insurmountable. Now, this week, research from the Utting Group in WA, which has been hardly reported, dented the Prime Minister's chances even further. The lead, according to Utting, is now 10 points, which correlates to a 10% swing against the government from 2019 numbers. The Prime Minister's personal approval rating has crashed as well, with just a 28% approval number, way worse than his last Newspoll score of 45%. And a whitewash in WA spells almost automatic death for the coalition because their chances of gaining seats across the rest of the country is close to negligible. And then you've got the government's chaotic start to the year, 12 days during which everything seems like it's spiralling out of control. The Omicron wave has crashed the PCR testing regime with massive queues and lagging results, expediting the use and need of rapid antigen tests. But the demand for RA tests has emptied the shelves in pharmacies and supermarkets, and the public has to wait for new stock at a time when COVID-19 has run riot. Despite all the warnings last year to stock up on RA tests from various epidemiologists, all governments have been caught short, not just the feds. As cases spread and close contacts isolate, the country is now chronically short of essential workers. Key services, including food, cannot be distributed, and panic buying has set in as well, just to add to the shortages. Then in flies Novak Djokovic. He somehow receives a visa from one arm of the Immigration Department to enter Australia, despite the rules against unvaccinated travellers. And Border Force officials act like SS soldiers, depriving the world #1 tennis player of his basic rights, which blows a hole in the government's strict border rules. You couldn't write this stuff. It's been a horror 12 days. And whether he likes it or not, whether it's accurate or not, the Prime Minister has partly copped the blame for just about all of that mess. There are quite a few hills in that list he could possibly die on, some of which could have been avoided as well. Frustration throughout the community is palpable, with so many holidays ruined and frustration growing from more self-isolation. Australians are looking to lay blame. But worse than all of that, the government's renowned strength, border security, has been exposed. And let's not underestimate that the coalition heads into this May poll without 10 of its leading MPs. Former Attorney General Christian Porter is gone. Health Minister Greg Hunt has retired. Both seats could now fall, and there are 8 others. With a record number of seats held by the coalition in Queensland, the loss of seats there is a given. And if Senator Jackie Lambie has her finger on the pulse in her home state, the Liberals will be wiped out in Tasmania. How can the Prime Minister possibly arrest this multifaceted downward trajectory? Which is why Anthony Albanese has such a swagger at the moment as he tours Queensland. He's become such a small target and has made Scott Morrison the man, his personal bullseye. It's quite incredible. Now, if government MPs were aiming to use a new year to turn their party's fortunes around, it's become the exact opposite. A nightmare in record time. Scott Morrison is known as the Messiah from the Shire. Well, he's going to need divine intervention to conjure up this miracle.